Hello everybody and welcome to Transport Fever 2. Some of you may remember Transport Fever was featured on the channel, but now we're bringing you Transport Fever 2 with plenty of changes, and the graphics look just absolutely amazing on this game. I've had a little dabble, but I haven't done too much on it because I wanted to cover it on the channel with as much detail of me trying to learn how to play it again, so you can see it and play along as well if you're into this game. Otherwise, if you're not, hopefully you'll enjoy it all the same. But let's get straight into it. So the one challenge we're going to give ourselves is to provide transportation for a couple of cities, and then we're going to move from there to provide resources. And one of the biggest changes in this version of the game to the first one is all the cities only require 2 resources. Them 2 resources are set by whatever they are required here. As you can see, each one has only got 2. So that makes it a little bit harder for us in terms of just ferrying everything into the city, whether they want it or not, making money off it. Now it's down to whatever you can kind of scrounge together in a certain area, and then you're ferrying it across to wherever it needs. The first thing we want to do, though, we want to be basically getting rid of our loan, so we're not incurring interest. And we're going to do that by starting a passenger system. We're going to start in one city, moving people around the one city, and then moving them from that one city to another city and repeating the process there until we start making some money. And then from there, we'll start expanding our production of resources and getting train lines and stuff like that. So that's the aim. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop this little thing here. So this is our town statistics. So it tells you the size, how much public transport there is. Obviously, we've not got any yet, and how much personal transport there is as well, private transport. As you can see, some of the places don't have any private transport, and some of the places are pretty much all private transport. Now we can just go off the size, but I want to do the size and how much public transport, private transport there is as well, because obviously they're going to need some public transport. What we're going to do is we're going to hit that little button there, and it takes us to Cheltenham, which has absolutely no private transport. As you can see, we have a -60 growth at the moment. They changed the growth system, so because the traffic is very poor, even though there is absolutely no traffic, then it's got a -60. Hopefully when we bring our system in, that'll go up straight away, and hopefully we can start improving it. So let's get straight into it. So we're paused at the moment. So how many cities have we got nearby? We've got a small city there. We've got a few down below us, one down there, so there's a bit of distance for them, but we've got one that's just literally down the road, and we don't need to build a road for that, so it's going to make it look cheaper for us. The first thing I want to do is I want to place a little, have a look, buildings here, bus tram station, and we're going to rotate it round as good as we can get it. We're going to lose a few buildings here, that's no problems. Don't want it too close to that junction. Okay, it'll have to go there, I think. Could have probably moved it a little bit more, but it's not a problem. So we've got our station, and now we're going to need some kind of... Have a look. We're going to capture as much as we can. I'm not quite sure why it does that. Wherever it's outside, it seems to drop them. Not quite sure why it does that, but you can get one there, one there, and now we need to create a line. So we want it to start at the station, work its way to Grange Road, and then work its way to King's Road, and then obviously back again. Excellent. So we've got our first route. Now we need our first bus. Or for this stage, it's a carriage, unfortunately. So we're going to need a road depot. Now I'm just going to pop the road depot just outside. Go. Matter of fact, I probably want to. Yeah, I want to put it outside the city because obviously I want to give the city room to expand. Later down the line, we can actually start demolishing a few things and making room for stuff like train stations, but we don't want to be getting to there just yet because that'll obviously eat into all our cash. So let's buy a couple of vehicles. We'll just buy 2 passenger vehicles. There we go. And we'll place both of them on our new line that we've created. There we go. And now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put back most of my loan. Just leave us with 600k, because I want to see if this is going to make any profit. Because if it doesn't make any profit, still got a little bit of money that we can make some adjustments with. So let's start it off, and let's just speed it up quickly for a minute, just so our little buses can get out. And we start seeing passengers popping up already on our lines, which is good for us. We're not into the city just yet, so we'll just zoom it up here. Now, I'm not seeing any in our main station, and obviously that does cost us money. But the reason why I put that in now is because obviously I needed to see how much to pay back, and I really want that in because that's going to be what directs us to our next city here. Just a bit of a bigger area for people to wait and stuff like that. Now we've got nothing waiting there, but we've got 2 people waiting here at the residential area. 2 markers, should I say. There's actually 15 people already waiting, so that's actually becoming overcrowded already. We really need to get these buses over there. Where's our second one? Our second one's already there, look at this. Excellent, so he's going to take the longest route possible to get to this. And then we're going to start, so yeah, you're full already. Okay. So we're going to have to get a third bus, sorry, we've got. As a matter of fact, I feel like we could get 2 more. Let's just get 2 more. And let's pop them on line 1. Now obviously they'll head to the main station first, it's not a problem. We've got people waiting. Let's see how the transfer does. Okay. We've got 2 people waiting, so one of these should be picked up by one of the new ones. That's still got a lot of people there, so that potentially could be our breadwinner there for the present moment, because I don't think we're getting any dropped off here. Oh no, 4 people have been unloaded there. Now what we can do is we can rotate. Or what we can actually do is, so it's headed to Upper Cheltenham, Grange Road, then Kings Road. We can then make it go back to Upper Cheltenham, back to Kings Road, and back to Grange Road, then Upper Cheltenham. So it's kind of doing one route, then a second route. And we're getting people going back and forward. And obviously as the buses start to spread out, then they'll start passing each other in different directions. So people can get from one side to the other a lot easier. So let's hope that makes us some money, because at the moment we're a bit down. Yeah, 8.5 grand, well, nearly 9 grand road usage. Our investments, a lot of money lost for investments there, and obviously we've got just a small amount of loan interest that's been taken already. Let's have a look. Income and expenditure. The value's leveled off slightly, so, and we don't seem to be losing too much money if we are losing money. Obviously things haven't progressed enough just yet. What are you waiting for there? Okay, so a lot of people go to Upper Cheltenham, but then people are going back and forward now. And you're going back towards there as well. So there's people going back and forward each direction now. So as these buses start to spread out, hopefully we'll start to see an improvement in our profits. How we're looking at the moment. Right, so a new year, so we can actually see properly how much we're going to gain or lose. At the moment I'm not seeing much of a gain. Now, whilst that's just ticking over, we can actually have a look. Now Cheltenham actually needs bread, and we've got bread here. Now I know I said we were going to concentrate on passenger, but I actually think we could get bread to the system as well. I mean, that would do good for the growth, and it would also do good for our money. Let us actually get a truck station in here. We afford a truck station. This is going to take most of our money. Matter of fact, I want the bread to go here. That's going to give us the majority, and it's going to be cheapest as well. Nice and correct. There, excellent. Got a bus depot, sorry, truck depot there. Truck depot here. Now we can pass it further out. I like to make that the truck depot. Okay, excellent. So we've got 3 truck depots. So now we just need trucks, and we've not used a massive amount of our money. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a new line. Cargo. So I'm going to buy. How many can we get? 1, 2, 3, 4. Got 4 road vehicles there, and then I'm going to create a new line which is going to go from our farm to our production and then into our city. And then what I'm going to also do is I'm going to say don't leave the farm without a full load. Then we'll leave that as is at the moment, because if you put it as a full load here, your first truck could stop here and hold everything up. But I think that'll do us for now, so we'll see how that goes. Our 4 vehicles are on their way. Now obviously they're bunched up at the moment, but when they get here they'll start to spread out with the wait time or whatnot, so we're not too worried about that. Good practice is to kind of display them a little bit, but I'm not overly worried just yet. Let's see how we're doing money. Okay, now we were 21 grand down last year. Now that might be due to obviously purchasing new vehicles. They've cost us more money. We've obviously got investments as well that we've had to pay for. So they're costing us 1,200 in maintenance costs and whatnot. Let's just see how this does. We're dropping down a little bit. Now don't forget, vehicles depreciate over time, so the value of your vehicles will drop, meaning that technically the value of your company is dropping all the time. Now obviously as you replace them with newer vehicles, the value will then go back up for the newer vehicles and then slowly depreciate again. But obviously the value of your company will increase by the investments you make on certain other things. So when these make profit and we start purchasing new buildings, then obviously they will keep the value. And obviously we can get trains and stuff like that, train lines, train tracks, all that kind of stuff is going to increase our company value. Now our 4 road vehicles are nearly at this. This got, how did it show 4? Oh, okay, so it showed, right, that makes more sense now. So when I had a little practice, I was wondering why there was little icons and then one big icon. Now this shows that we are, yes, we're overloaded. So obviously that is providing a different feature. So what happens is I believe, I could be wrong, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is when you provide it with a truck depot like this, in theory, the behind the scenes AI also takes shipment. That's also included your kind of losses and stuff like that, because obviously the shipment here is 200 out 200, so it's being shipped. But obviously our vehicles have only just got there, and they've only just loaded. They're slightly a bit more spaced out now. Transport is 0%, because that's how much transport we're doing, I believe. So when these reach to here and we've transported goods from here to here, that should increase, and obviously our profit will increase. We're not losing too much money, which I'm thankful for. We are losing, well, we're up to a loss of 50 grand so far. So hopefully with these vehicles now ferrying goods back and forward, and obviously when we can start providing with more vehicles, start these gaps here, because at the moment there's absolutely nothing going into there. As a matter of fact, we could probably afford more vehicles. Let's just get ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4 more vehicles. Obviously we've only got 23 grand to hold, so now we're going to start struggling with the amount of money we're going to start losing. But these vehicles are popping in now and they're making money, and obviously they're going to start making money when they deliver to here as well. So let us and the second one in. Transporting goods is a brilliant way of making money. Transporting passengers is a bit finicky because obviously your level of passengers you have drop and increase over time, and it's just not very reliable. So I do like transporting because I'm happy that we've managed to get this food processing here, which is really good for us. Let's get another one on there. Then let's get our fourth one ready to send out as well. Just want to create a little bit of a gap because, as you can see, they've created a gap already for here, but I want to create a bigger gap. So, yep, warning us that we haven't got much money. Minus 8 grand. Now, hopefully, what I want to try and do is I want to basically offset the cost of our running costs with the transport of passengers, and then our profits come from the sales of our goods here. That's just pumping out tons and tons of goods. But realistically, we need to think about could expand it. Cargo. Could increase it. So, but we haven't got the money for that. I believe that gives us more for the same area, but I could be wrong. I'll have to look into that. That's something we can do later down the line. But at the moment, it's completely rammed full, so we need to get our vehicles in here as fast as possible. We're delivering goods to Cheltenham now. I think our first one's on its way in. Oh, yep, they're in. So we're earning 5 grand off them as well. Realistically, every time we're landing in these two areas here, we're making 5 grand per truck. That's 20 grand on the road for our first lot, and another 20 grand for our new lot. So that's 40 grand for one trip to one, and then 40 grand on a second trip. So 40. We should be making 80 grand every time we're running. So as long as we can time this right, we can make ourselves plenty of money. Our vehicles are back in again. Now passengers, it's still looking busy. 11 people there, 2 on 2 on each. Now if we take our road vehicle 2 here, now you've got no passengers. What we can do is show income and running costs. Our income's just slightly a little bit more than our running costs. That's fine for me. We've got to keep an eye on that. If it starts going massively, like more than this here, then we need to consider removing one of them or basically getting rid of them completely. At the moment it's making money, which is all that matters. What else have we got nearby? So we've got oil well into an oil refinery. We've got a fuel refinery there as well. Ooh, so we've got a lot of choices around here. Now obviously this doesn't need fuel, but Southport does. Southport needs fuel and goods. And we've got a goods factory right next to Southport as well. So if we can find plastics, and we've got the tools factory. No, sorry, yeah, the steel mill there. We have a steel mill. We've also got iron ore. We just need to find coal. Probably right under my nose. Coal mine there. I'm not seeing a plastic though. That's the materials plant. The plastics is one we are short on to create goods, but we can certainly provide Southport with fuel in a short space of time as well. But I want to see how this does first, because as you can see, we're now into minus 22,000. So we're minus 16 grand at the moment. But our vehicles are still getting back to the profitable areas. Because obviously this makes no money, this stretch of the leg. As long as we can make the money from the next stretch of the leg, we should be good. And they're finally spread out quite nicely now. I'm happy with that spread. How are we doing here? Loaded, unloaded. Should be about halfway, I think. Not getting enough production here. We may need to re-borrow some money and buy more vehicles, because I think I'm struggling to get resources in, and you're just pumping loads out. But I think that's going to be it for this episode. We've got a little setup. I want to consider setting up the oil wells into the refinery. Certainly oil wells into refinery. And then we'll look at the refinery into the fuel refinery. That's a long stretch, that. So that's going to need a lot of vehicles. At the moment, I don't think we can afford the vehicles. We've got a sawmill nearby as well. Shep shed, does that require fuel? That requires fuel as well. We've got 2 areas here requiring fuel. That could be very useful for us. That requires bread and plastics. Oh, not plastics, is it? It's construction materials. This little area we've got here can be very profitable. And I think we need to start looking at bringing in the wheat into a general area. So I will probably put a train system here. Obviously we can deliver straight into that, and then any that's not used by that can then be transported to another site, or the bread can at least be transported to other areas. So we can bring a train station down to here, but there's coal that we can gather, 2 coal here, 2 iron here. We can bring that into the steel mill, or we can direct it into our nearby steel mill. Wherever I put it, it's up here. So something to consider. We've got plenty of options. We can bring in oil next, I think, because that's a short distance, so we can have something, 1 or 2 vehicles. Well, we'll probably do 2 vehicles or whatnot into there, and then bring a few more vehicles to go to the fuel refinery, and then that's another short stop there. Just this long stretch here. That's a long stretch. That could be a potential train route from here to here. That would be really, really good actually, that train route there. We may consider bringing it in as via vehicles at first, and then once we can afford to, we can look at getting trains instead. But at the moment we're struggling to make a profit still. So I'm going to let this tick over for a moment, just to see whether or not it is making money. If it doesn't make money, we will have to increase our loan again and then buy more vehicles, because obviously our supply is here. The supply isn't the problem, it's just getting it about in time before our money keeps ticking over like so. We'll have a look, because I think we're in August now, so this is obviously not going to get much better. See, it's that loan that would only be losing 3 grand if it wasn't for that loan. I mean, it's still a loss, and this one seems to be a fair loss for this year's. But obviously, we won't be losing as much if we didn't have the loan. So, you know what, while we're here, before we go, let's increase our loan and let's buy some more vehicles. And we're just going to buy 6 more vehicles. I'm going to place all 6 vehicles onto our line. That's got bread waiting now. There's no reason why that shouldn't be getting out to our town. How are you looking? I'm actually going to adjust this here. So we've had it where it's going back on itself. I'm going to cancel it going back on itself. We're going to let it just tick over like that. And if people want to get back for now, it's only an extra stop. They can remain on the vehicle. That might make it a little bit more profitable. Let's see how that does for a moment. And hopefully we'll see more profit increase. We're in the new year, so we should get a bit more of an insight into it. We've increased our loan interest by nearly 3 grand. No, £1.5 grand, £1.5 grand. Which is odd. What? Oh, that's because it's only partly at the end of the year. So yeah, we'll probably increase it by 4.5 mil, something like that. 4.5 thousand. Get there in the end. Now bear in mind, obviously we're in 1856 at the moment. So these vehicles are slow, they don't carry much goods. So you're already struggling to start off with, but we'll make it work. This is just rammed full of product. What we may consider doing is creating 2 routes here, because this is just backing up constantly. So let's create a new line, line 3. Line 3 is going to go from one to the other. That's it. Doesn't leave Cheltenham South until it's full, which it will be full anyway. We'll then go to our vehicle manager, our line 2, and our last 6 vehicles go on to line 3. Put them 3 vehicles onto line as well. And then what we'll do is we'll adjust line 2 to remove Cheltenham South. You don't leave until you're full at Cheltenham Annex. Put you on line 2 for that. Oh no, we don't. We'll put you on line 1 because you're on line 2. Okay. Them 6 vehicles have almost emptied that, and then it's just filled itself up again. So we'll see how that goes, because obviously this is filling up and this isn't filling up. And I'm thinking we're actually not transporting the full amount of the goods. Yeah, look, see, 2, 2. That's our problem there. 3. These just aren't going full. There you go. They're all full like that. So let's see how this works. Should have thought about that earlier, really. Coming in, so they should drop the amount of money straight away. And we're in January of 1857, so we should see how this is going to land. We're already in a profit, because obviously all 6 vehicles are going to land at the similar time. I believe most of them have. There we go. We're going to head back, pick up more. Production and shipment are in the middle. Shipping 19 to Cheltenham, so much better. We're in the positives. So that's going to be it for this episode. As you can see, this is going to turn it around nicely for us, because they're already on a return journey, and that's not going to tick down anywhere near. We're still 19 grand in profit, and we're in May. They're going to get back in plenty of time. Yeah, look, see, this one's almost back now. We've got a couple of vehicles heading out there. How's this looking? We've got 8 there. We may need to start considering getting more vehicles, but we'll keep an eye on that for a moment. We'll let it tick over for a full year, maybe 2 years. If it hasn't improved, then we'll come back, make some adjustments. If it does improve, I'm going to let it tick over until we've got a bit more money, and we can start considering these routes here. Or at least, once we've got enough just to be able to get a couple more of the depots, we can start transporting some goods. Southport is a very small town, so we can get there nicely. Got here a truck station. Drop that truck station right. Fine. I want to do it now, but then I'm concerned. Do it now, it's going to cost us money. We'll hold off for now. We're going to need about 300 grand for the buildings, and then another 100 grand for 200 grand, I should say. So we're going to wait until we're on about 600k at least. We'll let it tick over. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode. Let me know in the comments section if you've got any ideas, comments, questions, etc, etc. I'm still trying to work out the new changes to Transport Fever 2, so you have to bear with me. Hopefully I haven't made too many mistakes. I'm kind of learning from what I've done on Transport Fever 1. Well, hopefully you're enjoying it, as I certainly enjoyed playing this game. I've enjoyed playing Transport Fever 1, and I look forward to seeing how Transport Fever 2 is going to bring us into the newer years as we progress, and hopefully we'll make that with the money we've got. But hopefully we'll see that in the next couple of episodes. Until next time, everybody, take care for now, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye bye for now.